significance of a guru's role is in one's life. Sanatana Dharma, is somebody working on the slides? Hello, excuse me, sir.
Madam, is it
slides I had sent? Somebody has to share the slides, right?
Who has the slides, ma'am?
You had given me the email ID. I sent it to that ID.
1 second, ma'am. I'll just see.
Of a guru's role is in one's life.
Yeah.
Sanatana Dharma, is somebody
I'll bring it up, ma'am.
working on the slides?
Yeah, I'll bring it up.
Hello, excuse me, sir.
Madam, is it
slides I had sent? Somebody has to share the slides, right?
Just give us 2 minutes, madam.
No, it's repeating recorded. I don't know. I'm not. I sent it to that ID.
1 second, ma'am. I'll just see.
Of a guru's role is in one's life.
Yeah.
Sanatana Dharma, is somebody
I'll bring it up, ma'am.
working on the slides?
Yeah, I'll bring it up.
Hello, excuse me, sir.
Madam, is it
Slides I had sent. Somebody has to share the slides.
I request everyone to be on mute because I see someone is keeping the YouTube live stream open with them. So yeah, thank you everyone. Yeah.
Shall I begin?
Yes, ma'am. The slides are on. Are we able to see the slides?
Yeah. I'll be prompting for the next slide.
Yes,
so you will be helping me out, sir.
Yeah, please.
Okay, thank you,
NP sir, it is looking like little zoomed in, so you can bring it to normal this one. I see. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, part of it's my mistake. I think. Yeah. You know, Sanatana Dharma has laid out very logical and useful systems, be it for an individual or a society or even one's spiritual progress. It has a system of 4 stages of human life called Ashrama Dharma, namely Brahmacharya, which is celibate student, Grahastha householder, Vanaprastha hermit's life, and Sannyasa, where it's a renunciate, which would help one to attain the 4 goals of human life, or known as Purusharthas, namely Dharma, that is righteous living, Artha, righteous earnings, Kama, righteous desires, and Moksha, which is liberation. We also have the system of Guna Dharma helping us to live and work in the society according to our inherent tendencies. Next slide, sir. The fundamental reason for the successful practice and sustenance of these systems over several centuries was the robust education system of Sanatana Dharma called the Gurukula system of education. Gurukula was essentially a residential system of education that revolved around a guru or a master who was an expert both in a knowledge of the material as well as social sciences required for one's livelihood, which fulfills the first 3 goals. What are the first 3 goals? Dharma, Artha, and Kama. And B, the spiritual sciences that gave the subtler truths of all existence as God or Brahman. And this enabled one to realize one's own divine nature, leading to the 4th and the final goal of moksha. Next slide, sir. So, 2 kinds of education were thus imparted in these Gurukulas, and I would like to quote a story from Mundaka Upanishad here. Once the great householder by name Shaunaka, who was well educated and also adept in all sacred duties that were to be performed by a householder, felt discontent and unfulfilled. So he approached the great sage by name, our teacher by name Angiras, to learn from him the ultimate knowledge. He asked his master, Master, what is that by knowing which everything else is known? To this, the master replied, there are 2 types of knowledge to be acquired, namely Paravidya and Aparavidya, that is lower knowledge and higher knowledge. Of these, Apara is the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda. Para is that by which the immortal is known, which is the spiritual knowledge of the divinity beyond. In these days, the material knowledge was mostly, in those days, the material knowledge was mostly about Vedas and Shastras. We can extrapolate this idea of lower and higher knowledge to modern day education too. For instance, in the case of medical sciences, all that is related to learning medicine as a profession, the knowledge of human physiology, anatomy, diseases, surgical methods, or pharmaceuticals, etc., would be considered as the lower knowledge or aparavidya, whereas paravidya would still be the same as in ancient times. The same applies to all fields of knowledge, be it science, humanities, fine arts, law, or accounting, or any other subject. Thus, the Gurukula system believed that the higher knowledge or paravidya alone could complete one's education beyond learning the tricks of one's trade. The entire education was completely free, and a Guru Dakshina would be given to the Guru as a mark of gratitude at the time of graduation. This too was done based on one's own capacity. Each expressed their gratitude towards the Guru and the Gurukula in their own way. Masters or gurus are the ones who, out of their immense compassion for the others, teach them about this path of freedom. Next slide, sir. Just to tell you how compassionate a true guru is, even when the disciple wavers and wanders, here is a story of the great realized guru, Ribhu, and the disciple, Nidhaga. The great master Ribhu, upon the request of the father of Nidhaga, teaches the disciple the knowledge and the path of Brahman. But the wayward disciple, drawn by the world, leaves the guru to settle down in a family life far, far away. But the compassionate master visits him in different disguises only to guide him back on the spiritual path. One such incident is a very interesting one, wherein, after several years, the guru disguises himself as a poor old man and makes his way to the city where Nidhaga lived. On his way, he notices his disciple waiting on the wayside for the procession of the king. Acting like an ignorant old rustic, the guru asked the unaware disciple as to what was going on, to which Nidhaga replies the king's procession was passing by. The old man, that's the guru, asks again as to who was the king. Nidhaga replies the one on the elephant was the king. Now the guru asks as to what is an elephant? Such a strange question. This annoyed the disciple, and he replies, the one below is the elephant and the one seated above is the king. Yet again, the old man poses another question and asks as to what is meant by below and above. Now, having lost all the patience with the foolish old man, the infuriated Nidhaga climbs upon the old man's back and tells him, I am above, you are below. The guru then asks final question as to who is I and who is you. This makes the disciple realize that the old man was his guru who had come in disguise to remind him of the great truth that all are one in divinity and there are no differences of I and you. Thus, the disciple is guided back on the spiritual path by the guru. Having said this much, you all may be thinking, what is this? Auntie has started by saying so many big definitions of guru about paravidya, about aparavidya and all. I don't understand all this. Then who is my guru? We heard the other day Gopal Krishna uncle saying that we learn from many people and many objects around us and each of them becomes our guru, right? You remember? And Dr. Ravi Shankar uncle also mentioned about our first guru. Who do you think our first guru is? Next slide, sir. Our learning starts from our mother. Life takes us along various paths where we meet different sets of people, places, objects, situations. We must be ever alert to pick up and absorb the good things that help us to make ourselves better individuals with an attitude of gratitude, while at the same time also fortify ourselves or protect ourselves from not so good things which are not worth learning, and continue to be good students all our life. Then where do we start as young children will be your next question, right? Imagine a small ant in front of a lump of sugar candy. What does it look like for the ant? A huge mountain. Don't you think so? Similarly, when you stand closely in front of a huge mountain, say Himalayas, can you have a view of its peak? You need to climb one step at a time to reach the peak. The further we climb, the view gets better. So, you all young children will look at the Guru from where you are right now. And as you grow and your vision expands, your definition of Guru further strengthens. For now, your teacher at the school is your Guru. You may be attending so many extra classes outside the school, like music, dance, football, swimming, etc., etc. There you have teachers. You may call them coaches if it's sports, but they too are your teachers, since you are learning from them. And in our Sanatana Dharma, we give them a revered title of a Guru. Next slide, sir. For you to learn anything effectively, first, you need to be an ideal student. Two most important ingredients, apart from, leave aside your intelligence, your skill, your interested effort, they're all required. Apart from that, two important components for becoming an ideal student are bhakti towards your teacher and shraddha towards the subject. How do we define bhakti? Bhakti is unselfish, a pure love, intertwined with reverence to a higher entity. Is bhakti. Higher need not be only in terms of age. It could be based on knowledge and wisdom. The other important thing is shraddha, the power that empowers everything. According to Swami Vivekananda, the most vital and essential quality needed to succeed in life is shraddha. Swami Vivekananda asks, what is shraddha? What is its English translation? And says, I would not translate this word shraddha to you. It would be a mistake. It's a wonderful word to understand, and much depends on it. Moving on, shraddha has many shades of meaning and includes many higher values. It is considered central in Indian tradition. Shraddha is a mental attitude constituted primarily of sincerity of purpose, humility, reverence, and faith. You have Shraddha for your Guru. It's a sincere reverence. You have Shraddha for Bhagavad Gita. It is admiration for those teachings you understand and faith in those you don't understand. Not everything you can understand instantly. So you have, admiration, respect for what you understand, and faith that what it's being said is true, though I don't understand at this point of time. You give alms to a beggar with Shraddha. It's a sense of humility combined with the hope that what you give will be acceptable and useful, not with an attitude of saying, I have it and better he receives it. And Gita says, Shraddhavan, that is, one endowed with Shraddha, attains the highest knowledge, both mundane and spiritual. All this together, that is purpose, humility, reverence, and faith, together constitute Shraddha. Next slide, sir. Grace of a guru is an important component in a disciple's life. Ramana Maharshi said, the grace of the guru is like the ocean. If one comes up with a cup, he will get a cup full. It is no use complaining about that ocean being stingy. The bigger the vessel we carry, the more we are able to receive. It is entirely up to oneself. Let us go through a few stories from our mythology, which highlights the compassionate grace of the Guru coupled with bhakti and shraddha of the disciple. Next slide, sir. The first story will be about Dronacharya and his favorite disciple, Arjuna. Some disciples of Guru Dronacharya used to feel that their Guru appreciated Arjuna more than anyone else. So they were jealous of Arjuna. One day, Guru Dronacharya took all his disciples to a river for a bath. He stood below a banyan tree there and asked Arjuna to fetch his dhoti, which he had forgotten in the ashram. Dronacharya then demonstrates the power of an arrow coupled with a mantra while Arjuna was away. Guru Dronacharya explained to all the other disciples that although there is power in a mace or a bow, the power of a weapon, when coupled with a mantra, becomes manifold. I can perforate every leaf on this banyan tree at once with the help of just one mantra on the ground. I know one mantra. So, saying this, Dronacharya wrote the mantra on the ground and shot an arrow at the tree with this mantra, charged with this mantra. That arrow went on to perforate every leaf on the tree. All the disciples were in awe to see this. Later, Guru Dronacharya went to take his bath. Meanwhile, Arjuna returned from the ashram with Gurudev's dhoti. He noticed the perforated leaves on the tree. He started thinking, these leaves were intact when I left. Where did the perforations come from? If Gurudev has taught some secret when I had gone to the ashram, then there must be some indication about it here somewhere. So Arjuna looked around and he noticed, the mantra written on the ground. He was amazed at the magnificence of the mantra, which could perforate every leaf on the tree. He read that mantra, he memorized it, and lifted an arrow and shot it while reciting that mantra. The arrow that sprang from his bow had acquired that knowledge, perforated every leaf for the second time. Arjuna was pleased that he had acquired that knowledge that Gurudev had bestowed to the other disciples in his absence. On their return from the river, the Guru and the disciples were perplexed to see the second perforation in the leaves. Dronacharya asked, who among you perforated the leaf a second time? The disciples replied that none of them had done that. Then Dronacharya asked Arjuna, did you do it? Now Arjuna was scared. But how could he lie to the Guru? So he said, I tried your mantra without your permission because I thought that since you have already taught this mantra to all the disciples, let me learn it myself so that you do not waste your precious time by having to repeat it. Gurudev, if I committed a mistake, please pardon me. Then Dronacharya says, Dear Arjuna, you have curiosity, you have patience and yearning to learn. Besides, you have faith too in the mantra. After I demonstrated the power of mantra, all the disciples got very surprised and left to bathe. But none of them had the yearning to experiment the power of the mantra themselves. You showed the courage to do so, made an effort, and were successful too. You are my able disciple. Oh, Arjuna, it's very difficult to find anyone superior to you. Moving on to the next story. Next slide, sir. There once lived, this is about Surdas. There once lived a seeker of God called Surdas. He was eager to study and understand spirituality, that is knowledge about God. He approached a guru and requested that the guru teach him the spiritual practice so that he could get close to God. The guru was well aware of Surdas' defect of anger. He knew that this would prevent Surdas from feeling closeness with God. So the guru decided to first prepare Surdas before teaching him serious spiritual practice. So the guru replied, Dear Surdas, chant God's name during all your activities for 1 month, then take a bath and come back to me. Starting the very next day, Surdas chanted the God's name during all his activities. After a month, he went to the river, took a bath, and put on fresh clothes to visit the Guru. On the way to the Guru's ashram, his clothes got dirty as a sweeper was sweeping the street carelessly. Surdas was furious and shouted at the sweeper, What are you doing, you fool? Now I have to go back, wash and dry these clothes and bathe again. Such a waste of time. The Guru had observed the scene. When Surdas reached the ashram, he said, Dear Surdas, you are not yet ready for further spiritual practice. Chant God's name during, all your activities for another 1 month. Take a bath at the end of it and then come and see me. Surdas accepted the Guru's wish and went back to chanting along with his daily activities. When that month was over and Surdas was returning to the ashram eagerly, a similar incident happened. This time, the sweeper accidentally brushed his dirty broom against Surdas. Again, Surdas became furious at the sweeper, and again the Guru sent him back and asked him to chant God's name for another 1 month. At the end of the third month, when Surdas was on his way to visit the Guru, something unusual happened. The sweeper saw Surdas approaching and remembered the way Surdas has berated him earlier, even though whatever had happened earlier was surely an accident. He noticed that Surdas was once again wearing new and clean clothes. This time, before Surdas could say anything or do anything, the sweeper, who was furious at Surdas, intentionally poured all the garbage, the dirt from the can, on his Surdas' head. But this time, Surdas joined his hands in Namaskara and said, I thank you. You are my master. You taught me how to overcome anger. The sweeper was surprised and he hung his head in shame. This time, when Surdas reached the Guru's ashram, the Guru was waiting for him. The Guru was pleased and patted Surdas on the head, just as a mother would pat its child on its achievement. In our lives, we come across many such situations that anger us. We too can look at every situation as an opportunity to realize and overcome our defects. This is possible only due to the strength of chanting the God's name. The last story today. Next slide, sir. Samartha Ramdas Swami was a great saint from Maharashtra in India. He was the guru of Shivaji Maharaj, a great and pious king of the 17th century Maharashtra. One day, as the king and his guru were inspecting some construction in the royal palace, the king, secretly thought in his mind, indeed, I am a great king. How well I take care of my subjects. The guru, in his omniscience, read his disciples' thoughts and decided to correct this thinking immediately. There was a huge boulder nearby. Ramdas Swami asked some of Shivaji's soldiers to break it into two. When his request was carried out, everyone present witnessed an incredible sight. They saw that the rock had a small water-filled cavity with a little frog in it. As soon as the boulder was split into two, the trapped frog jumped out, breaking free. Samartha Ramdas Swami now turned to Shivaji and asked, if you feel that you are taking care of everybody in this kingdom, then tell me who was taking care of the frog trapped in the rock. Then the king realized his mistake and felt remorse with his thinking. He realized that it was God who had created and everything God had created, and he took care of his entire creation. Next slide, sir. We come to the end of, next slide, please. We come to the end of today's session. May we be grateful for this access to the Guru's teachings, which is nothing but grace. You are all particularly blessed children because you have the guidance and grace of His Holiness Shri Kishora Bharati Swamiji, who has taken keen interest in your upbringing and progress. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. If you have any questions or clarifications, you please let me know. Thank you so much for your patience.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. That was a very good demonstration of a Guru Shishya Sambandha. Hari Om. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Thank you, madam, for giving a brief talk on role of a guru in a disciple life through practical examples. So I would just like to engage the kids with some of Q&A sessions. So yeah, kids can unmute. NP sir, you can give the permission for them. And yeah, first question is how many Guru Shishya examples did
Yes, please,
Madam
madam.
give today?
Um,
Okay, we will come like this. Which was the first Guru Shishya example Madam gave today?
Arjuna and Dronacharya.
Okay, before that,
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
One second. Dr. Vasumathi herself can you do the Q&A?
Oh, sure, madam. Sure.
Can you please conduct an interactive session, a small piece, thing like Madam Vasumathi?
Madam, you are on mute.
Like, what did you like the most about today's whatever stories I told you? What did you like the most? How many stories did I tell you?
2.
Are you
2 to
sure?
3 stories.
How many?
3.
3. Which one was your favorite?
What?
The Arjuna one.
Arjuna 1. Why?
Because I like Arjun.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good reason. Yeah. What do you like about Arjun?
His strength
Oh, very good. Yeah. Then?
and his respect to his guru.
Yeah. And what else did you do in today's story?
Um,
Anyone else can also try. Yeah.
I know about Arjuna. He has no jealousy.
Okay. That's a good point. Yeah. So jealousy comes in the way of your learning, right? Hmm? So what
And
did
then
Arjuna do today? In today's story, what did Arjuna do?
he used his guru's mantra.
Yeah. Yeah. When other disciples didn't try, he wanted to try whatever his guru had taught him. Okay. With reverence, with faith, with Shraddha, right? And that gave him success. Okay. All of us should be disciples like Arjuna so that we have Shraddha in whatever our guru says and we follow that to the T, like, properly. We put in the effort to follow. Teachings by themselves will not change your life. When you apply those teachings in your life, then life changes for the good, right? So Dronacharya taught the mantra to all, but nobody tried. It was Arjuna's initiative, his Shraddha in his guru, that he tried and he succeeded, right? So all of us should be practicing what has been taught to us. Do you all agree?
Yeah.
That's good.
yes.
I told you one more story, like, Elephant and King. Wasn't that funny?
Yeah.
What was that? Can anybody tell me? What did the guru do? Who was the guru? Can you recall the name? Little difficult. Ribu. What did the student do? He sat on his guru to tell him, like, you are at the bottom, I am on the top, right? Then he realizes his mistake, right? So the guru was so patient with the disciple. He took all the pain to becoming in disguise and going through this. And what was his purpose? To make his disciple follow his path, right?
Yeah.
So what are, why I mentioned about different things that are very needed to be an ideal student. Tell me those 2 important things that are needed to be an ideal student.
I know it is
Yeah.
Shraddha and Bhakti.
Very good. Very good. I'm so happy. Yeah. And I know all of you are having those 2 qualities, right? All of you are having
Yes.
bhakti, and all of you have Shraddha. Bhakti towards the
Yes.
guru and Shraddha towards the subject, right? Whatever you're learning,
Yes.
you're having the Shraddha, right? And unless you have bhakti or a reverence towards the teacher, you will not be successful in learning from the teacher, right?
Yeah.
I also mentioned, like, if you're going to kind of, giving some alms to the beggar, what is the attitude we should have when we are giving something to the beggar or a needy person? When we are
Maybe
giving something,
that good happens to them.
yeah. And then,
We should not expect anything in return.
yeah, and we should give it, not like I said, I'm donating kind of an attitude, but we should be giving it as with an attitude of humility, bending down. If he accepts whatever we are giving him, we are obliged. We should not feel that they are obliged to us. That should be the real charity. That should be the real way. It's not that I'm helping him. You should be getting a feeling that you are being helped by him because you got this opportunity of being some use to someone else. That is also a part of Shraddha. You remember I mentioned about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you have Shraddha and Bhakti, but apart from that, I said the other things, what are the required? You should have the capacity to work hard, the skill to implement whatever has been taught, only and put everything into practice. Then you see the success of the teachings, right?
Yes.
What was the second story after Arjuna and Dronacharya?
It was
The king who thought he took care of subjects correctly.
Surdas, yes, that was the second story. What did we learn from Surda's story?
that
Anyone can be your guru.
Yeah, that is one thing. The other thing,
I know.
what?
It's
Patience.
patience, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Patience.
it's not just about patience. It's about
Humility.
anger management also. Like all of us
Yeah,
have
yeah.
one to the other, right? Now, we are not perfect, so our aim should be to move towards perfection. So how do we do that? Sadhana, with guidance from the guru, right?
and also situations
Yeah,
that
different situation. There might be situations where your anger is, the situation that makes you more angry, but you should remember anger is not a good a positive emotion. That will hamper your progress. One should be aware. So even if the situation demands that you get angry, you should not, right? How do you practice that? With
by
prayers to God, with reverence to Guru, we will overcome all these defects of ours so that we can progress in life. We can learn properly what we were expected to learn and do well in life. Do you all agree? The
yeah,
Guru recognized that anger is not going to help Surdas. That's why he tried to make him overcome that anger. Right? Do you all appreciate that?
yeah.
So you tell me what is that one thing, a few of you tell me what is that one thing you want to overcome and improve and remove from your list of not to do?
Being rude to being rude to people.
Okay, yeah. I have one drawback. I get angry very quickly. I'm also working on that. Like, I say, like, no, I should not get angry. Even if the situation, if somebody does not listen to me, like my daughter doesn't listen to me, I get angry. So getting angry is good or bad for me?
Bad.
Yeah. So what should I do? I should work on it, work on
Calmly, yeah.
how do I do? One of the means is to take God's name all the time, have positive thoughts, and overcome that defect. One of the means, right?
But I have a thing that whenever I get angry or really like to do something bad, I say 1 to 10 and 10 to 1 to
Okay.
make myself calm down.
Okay. That's also one of the approaches which your teacher has taught. Your mom has taught you, no? Huh? Your mom is your first teacher. So whatever guru teaches you, that's suitable for you. So you should practice that. We all accept, no? Our mother's our first teacher. We learned whole lot of things from our mother. Can you list what all you learned from your mother?
Yeah.
The list goes on and on. Can we begin by doing the list? Whatever we have learned from mom? Quickly. It should not take time to say what you've learned from your mom, right?
Walking, running,
Oh, yeah, walking, eating, sleeping,
like every day.
prayer. Huh?
Sleeping.
Everything.
Sleeping.
She used to put you to sleep and you
Sleeping.
sleep, right?
Talking.
Talking. Yeah, she
Everything.
Rolling.
everything. Yes.
Talking.
Talking. Yes.
And then
And also,
Cycling.
Cycling. Yes. And prayer to say your prayers. Your mom would have taught you, right?
Chokla.
yeah, but that's talking.
Kind. Yes. To be kind. Very nice.
And then to be calm.
To be calm. Yes. And to be good human.
Cooking.
Like, to be good student, to study well. All that are taught by your mom, right?
To have good
Yes,
manners.
also cooking.
Cooking also, right? That's very interesting. So
To
I
have
should
And
visit one
then
of these
I
days.
know what our mother taught us.
Yeah.
Reading, writing, and typing.
Yeah. That's
And
good. And what we learn from our mother stays with us forever, right?
walking.
Yes.
And a good manner.
ma'am,
Hmm.
the last thing like I ever think of is being racist to people.
Yeah, that's the last thing, right? Right. You have defined it very well, dear. Yes, that's the last thing that should be on our mind. No, that's why you remember the story of Ribhu. He said, "I and you." He said, "What is the difference between I and you? We are all one. In divinity, we are all one. So why should we be racist, right? Why should we say I'm rich, he's poor? Why should we say I'm fair and he's dark? No, we are all one in God's eyes. All of us are God's creation, right? Yeah, that's a very good point, dear. What's
And
your name?
also, God has made us. It's not, we did not choose how we wanted to
Yeah,
be.
exactly.
We can,
Yeah,
we can be healthy to get
yeah,
more
yeah.
beautiful, but God has made
The way
us
we are. Yeah. So we should be good and do good. That should be our mantra. Be good, do good. And what was the third story I read out for you people? A very interesting story. Whose story was that?
The king and how he thought he
Yeah, which
cared
king was that?
ruled
Shivaji
over
Maharaj. Was that he thought that he's taking care of everybody? He's the one who is in charge of things. No, he gets that feeling. Actually, he's a very good king, but still, good people also sometimes get that kind of a thought, right?
Shivaji.
So immediately his guru assessed that thought which ran in his mind, and he wanted to correct him then and there itself. Shivaji Maharaj was a very kind emperor who was known for his kindness and his valor. He was very good, but in such a good king also this thought crossed. So what did he do? How did he teach the message to him? He asked the
That
soldier
there are
about.
many creatures which are
There
not
was a
taken.
frog which was trapped in that stone. Nobody could see the frog trapped. Who could have said that frog, having not noticed it also? So he made this small experiment to drive home this, fact to Shivaji Maharaj. When the boulder was broken, the frog came out, hopping out. It was trapped inside. Nobody saved it, the frog, because nobody ever noticed it also. So above us there is God who is taking care of everything. We are nimitta matra, like Krishna tells Arjuna, nimitra matra sabyasachi. Like we are here to do the orders of the. So we trust our guru, we have faith in God, and we keep doing good work so that all good things happen for everyone. That should be our motto. Anything else you want to tell? You want to share? Rama akka,
No.
ನೀವೇನಾರು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾ?
No, I think you have covered almost all the points. The qualities that is required, that is to be an ideal student, that is Shraddha and Bhakti mainly, that you have mentioned. And children also responded to your questions very well. They really enjoyed it. Thank you.
I enjoyed talking to them.
Yeah.
Thank you for this
From
opportunity.
your stories, I learned, a few things which I did not know. So that also helped me a lot. It was really, stories were too good, not a
Thank
very commonly
Your
heard
blessings.
stories.
Your blessings, Akka.
Yeah. Okay. Over to you, sir. NP, sir. I think it's a time. Narsingh Prasad.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was indeed a wonderful session, and also a good interaction with the students about the stories that we got to hear from. So every day through stories, through examples, we are getting to understand more in deeper about a guru, how an ideal student or a disciple should be, what all the qualities of a guru, and today we learned about what all the qualities of a student. So day by day, the sessions are more interesting, more educative for all of us. Even though we are being organizing that, we are also learning from every sessions. So thank you, ma'am. That was a wonderful time that we had sharing your thoughts.
Thank you, sir.
A wonderful session.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Madam
I
Vasumathi
hope
ji.
offer
We
it to the
all
feet of His Holiness.
we all learned something today.
Yeah,
I also learned a huge time.
Thank you.
Big time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Akka. Wonderful. So with that, we'll conclude the session through a Shanti Mantra. Yashas?
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Kayena vacha manasendrayirva buddhyatmana va prakrite swabhavat karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai narayanaayeti samarpayami narayanaayeti samarpayami narayanaayeti samarpayami. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sadguru Charanaravindarpanamastu. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Thank you. Namaste.
Dhanyawadaha. Dhanyawadaha.
Dhanyawadaha.
Hari Om Namaste.
Yeah.
Shubharatri.
Before we this Thursday also we have a talk.
Yeah.
So please join
Namaste.
the same.
Yes.
Thank you.
Before
Thank
we
you
Okay,
conclude,
Hari Om
teaching.
Namaste.
It's very
Bye.
interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Can you please announce the topic for the...
yeah, this Thursday, coming Thursday, we have one of the other speaker who is going to enlighten us about the characteristic of an ideal student. Dr. Sachin, he will be with us to talk about the topic, the characteristic of an ideal student. Please do come and join, and it will definitely be a wonderful session.